It's another time to go conversational right here on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja once again. Happy new month. 8 minutes gone past the hour of 9 on the AM side. It's the 1st of December of 2025. And my name is Uduak Daniel. So there's been quite a lot going on. I mean, the 1st of December has seen matters that concern the economy, matters that concern the CBN, matters that concern the NNPCL, matters that concern SERAP, calling out the National Assembly to look into certain monies that have been somewhat unaccounted for, matters that have also dealt with Obasanjo, who has been a very strong critique of the Tinubu administration, talking to the Mr. President and his administration to do the needful to get international support in terms of insecurity in Nigeria and tackling it, bringing it to a halt and a standstill. And we have also heard the clamp back or the feedback that the presidency has given to Obasanjo, saying that insecurity was incubated during your tenure. I mean, we can go on and on to Kogi State, Kwara State, Sokoto, where bandits have declared war, laying siege. And I even saw a video on X where bandits are seen very clearly on the highways, some parts in Enugu State, some parts in other parts of the country. It seems like they're spreading their tentacles and spreading their wings now unabatedly, standing on the highways and even greeting, drivers who are passing through with their AK-47s or whatnot. Now, in view of some of these developments, we have also seen the card-carrying member of the ADC and his supporters from the ADC or with the ADC, Atiku Abubakar, also looking for or in search of a vice. And some have touted that Obi would have been the best candidate according to Dele Momodu, but they're also looking towards a former Rivers State Governor, Rotimi Amechi, who has also publicly come out to saying that, look, I will never be a VP, a vice to anybody. If ever, I am going to come out as the president myself, not as the vice. Well, in the midst of all of these rumples, though, the PDP is demanding withdrawal of Tinubu's ambassadorial list over integrity deficit concerns. Now, if you recall that we have not had ambassadors for a lot of countries, if not all the countries of the world, as Mr. President, sometime is it in 2023 now, had withdrawn, or 2024, withdrawn all of the ambassadors, leaving that place vacant. But now, it seems as though after the call or the threat by President Donald Trump of the United States of America, Mr. President has seen the need to indeed get ambassadors for the ambassadorial positions out there, and quite a number of names have made it to the list. So the PDP has specifically mentioned several nominees, including Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), whom they criticize for his integrity deficit and anti-democratic activities. Reno Omokri, a former presidential aide, I think to the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan administration, described as a disgraced propagandist. Femi Fani-Kayode, former aviation minister, also labeled as a disgraced propagandist. And we have also seen former governor of Enugu State, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, Okezie Ikpeazu, former governor of Abia State, and all of that. I mean, the PDP is alleging that the tenure of Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, was criticized for its integrity deficit, right? And they also allege that his tenure marked double speaks, flip-flops, and undelivered promises, contributing to the current administration struggles. And as for Reno Omokri now, he was a former presidential aide, of course. His nomination sparking division among Jonathan's kinsmen in the Ijaw nation, with some questioning his integrity. Now, you remember FFK, right, former aviation minister. He's also been labeled as a disgraced propagandist, and his past criticisms of President Tinubu have raised concerns about his sustainability for or suitability for the role. Of course, that's about it. But there's been quite a number of names that made it through. If I'm not mistaken now, there are names of the 32 ambassadorial nominees and their respective designations or portfolios. I mean, we've had Barrister Ogbonnaya Kalu, Reno Omokri, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, Erelu Bisi Angela Adebayo from Ekiti State, and Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, Enugu State, Hasiu Musa Megari, Katsina State, former Speaker, Katsina House of Assembly, Yakubu N. Gambo, Plateau. We've seen Professor Nora Ladi Dadut, that's Plateau State too, Otumba Femi Pedro, Chief Femi Fanikayode also made it to that list too as well. And who else? I mean, Barrister Nkechi Linda Ufokchukwu, Fatima Florence Ajimobi, Oyo State, former First Lady of Oyo State, Lola Konde, Grace Bent of Adamawa State, former Senator Dr. Victor Okezie-Ikpeazu, Abia State, Senator Jimo Ibrahim Ondo, and Ambassador Paul Oga Adiku, Benue State, former ambassador to the Holy See, and then career ambassadors. Now, the ones I just called are non-career ambassadors. Now, career ambassadors include Enebechi Bonika Okuchukwu, Yakubu Nyaku Danladi, Maimuna Ibrahim Besto, Musa Abubakar Sindof Pebi, and Donny Chima Geoffrey Leomo David Ebonyi, Okweola Adeola Ibrahim Ogun, Abimbola Samuel Ruben Ondo Yvonne, Innocent Uduma, Edo State, Hamza Mohammed Salau, Niger State, Ambassador Shehu Barde, Katsina, Ambassador Ahmed Mohammed Munguno Borno, Ambassador Mohammed Saidu Dahiru Kaduna, Ambassador Latunji Ahmed Salu Gambari Kwara, and Ambassador Wahab Adekola Akande, Osun State. So these nominees are expected to be deployed to key countries such as China, India, South Korea, Canada, Mexico, or Mexico if you like, UAE, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, South Africa, Kenya, as well as multilateral missions, including the US, UNESCO, and the African Union, that is the AU. All right, so there's been quite a lot of arguments by the People's Democratic Party right there, but it also brings to concern and brings to limelight the fact that, hey, shouldn't people just be nominated? I mean, it's still a nomination, don't you think? It also behoves on the House to look into these people, allow them to go through very strict scrutiny and before approving. But, you know, some others are arguing that this is Nigeria where anything goes. I mean, we have seen where the House have critiqued or critically looked into somebody's disposition and fitness for a certain role. Is it the one Naji, if you remember him still? And then only for us to discover months later that he, or even years later, I mean, in several other occasions, we see years later before we discover that, oh, this person did not even have the qualification for it. Now, it's even worse not to have maybe studied the course for a position that you've been designated for, right? Though the worst, the very worst, is the fact that most times these people don't even have certificates. And it has brought to question matters of concern. Okay, so are these the only people, the same names we keep reshuffling over and over again? It has brought to question of, are we compensating certain people because of certain things and roles that they have played in support of our administration? It has brought into limelight the fact that, hey, are we even following the federal character system, you know, as proposed by the Constitution for us to follow, so that we don't have issues of some parts of the country or region being sidelined? It has also brought to the limelight the fact that favoritism, tribalism, ethnicity, and the rest and the likes, how much has it eaten down into our very system in this country? Well, to join this conversation with us is an information specialist, I call him, an information professional, He is a policy and public affairs analyst, and he is Benedict Olaliko Agunloye. He'll be looking into this discourse and take us through all sides of the coin. Good morning to you, Mr. Benedict. Welcome aboard to the discourse.
Good morning.
Yes, please, Mr. Benedict. Happy new month to you, and glad to see the last month of 2025. Are you there?
Okay.
Right. Now, PDP is demanding withdrawal of Tinubu's ambassadorial list over integrity deficit concerns. I'm just going to let you rain out your thoughts on the ambassadorial list, rain out your thoughts on whether or not the president has the right to nominate whomever. Rain out your thoughts from the place of federal character, looking at the list of persons and the etiquette of these people, as well as their portfolio and past antecedents. What do you think, and what do you make of this list?
Well, I think that the call is a wrong call.
Okay.
Why do I say so? The person who made the list has the right to do that.
Okay.
And he doesn't report to them in any way. So why should they ask him to withdraw his list? The best they can do, as maybe by their status, if they were not just about making useless rants, I would say, should be to walk up to those the list have been presented to for approval, and then write their petition challenging any of the people that they think was wrongly put on the list, right? So whoever they think, are you not?
Yeah, go ahead.
Whoever they think is on the list that should not be there, then they should identify such individual. And if it's all the 32, it cannot be the same reason for each of them. So they should come up with their evidence, come up with their complaint, and submit the petition to the National Assembly. Noretta Onoche was nominated for INEC, was she not?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody say Lawa led Senate was rubber stamp. But they did not rubber stamp Noretta Onoche. Noretta never made it to become an INEC commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in the same way, whoever they have anything against on that list, they should pick the name, get their facts, get their evidences, submit their proposal, submit their petition, and leave that to the doorstep of the National Assembly to do.
Okay, so in other words,
Which, however, if they now think that the National Assembly failed in its responsibility,
mm-hmm.
then they can go to court.
Oh.
But not that you are asking the president to withdraw his list. The president does not report to them, and I think that statement by whoever made it is nonsensical and senseless. It's anti-procedure. There is no basis for that call. It's an absolutely wrong call.
Okay.
That's my position.
Right. Now, do you also think, as some other persons are saying, that that this might just be a nomination of rewards? Do you think that the president is rewarding political allies? Because the implication will be perception of cronyism and undermining merit-based appointments. And expectations from Nigerians would be that we need transparency and fairness in the appointment process.
Well, for me, I think that in the first place, the appointments are coming too late.
Okay.
The president's already done mid-term in office. And I think that if you are just talking about people who will be the face of the nation in several countries, I think we have left the gap. And for me, it also shows how much we care about the image of the nation and about our citizens that are elsewhere.
Right.
I would always say it, when you're outside the country, there are issues and you see your colleagues run to their embassy. And you see the embassies come to their aid. But unfortunately, in most places, you can't even contact the Nigerian embassy. And even those who claim, who said they have done, will also tell you that they did not get any useful information or help. Now, that was when we have ambassadors, when we have people leading those offices. Now, when the offices have now been left rudderless, they have been left without a functional leadership, then you realize that whatever little services were being rendered previously would even have dropped much more below par. Okay. So I think that rather than anybody calling for let's withdraw the list, no, let's look at who is there that should not be there. Tell us why it should not be there. Right? And then let that person be taken out. But not that you would do an outright total condemnation.
Okay.
Because on that basis, some of the people start talking. Let's put them also on the spotlight and begin to review them. It's just like last week when we were talking about giving gun to responsible citizens.
That's right.
My position was point blank. Whoever has broken the traffic light, whoever has been in a vehicle that drove one way and did not, and has the power to stop the vehicle and did not stop, is not responsible. And in that light, I am not sure that any senator can be considered responsible because they've all broken the traffic light in this Abuja town. At one time or the other, they've driven one way. They've jumped the queue. And for me, those are the simple tests of responsibility. So if you cannot obey those simple procedures, I don't see how you would obey a more complex procedures of having a gun in your possession. Okay. So a lot of time, I think it's easy for people to talk and to make statements. But like I said, you think a name should not be there, bring out the evidence why that name should not be there. But if the fellow is in Nigeria and is not in prison at the moment, I think that he's qualified to be nominated.
Okay.
It's another level of screening. If he or she did not pass the screening, then that is a different ball game. So they should, rather than contesting the nomination, go and focus on ensuring that whoever they think was wrongly nominated fail at the point of screening.
All right. Well, let's open the phone lines, get to hear from family members what they think about this situation already. And then we'll just continue with the Prog Show. I mean, you also want to add your voice in the discourse already. Go straight to the point as you call in 0907 353 0044. That is the number, 0907 353 0044. Do you have a problem with the president's list of nominees for ambassadorial positions right there? Do you think it's coming lately or late, as the guest has already put his voice to? Or do you just think that, hey, we should just leave it at the table of the Senate during the screening, and they should decide the integrity of these personality? The other number is 0908 766 8888, and the WhatsApp portal number is 0909 705 4450. Let me take you up, Mr. Benedict, on the place of Nigeria's foreign policy. I know that a while ago you just said it's rather coming too late, or rather coming late, you know, and all of that. But then again, do you think that even at this time where these nominations are made, and should the persons who have been nominated go through get approved by the Senate, will this even affect Nigeria's foreign policy? Would it also affect the country's democratic institutions?
I didn't get that.
Okay, so I'm saying, let's say all of the checks and balances, you know, have been put in place, and the people nominated by Mr. President actually made it through the screening and all of that. How will this, do you think it will affect Nigeria's foreign policy? And do you also think that the country's democratic institutions will be affected positively in any way?
Well, the job of ambassadors are not to design or frame policies.
Okay.
Theirs is to represent. They are just supposed to be the image of the government in the environment where they find themselves. So I think that basically their coming on board should help strengthen the efforts of the government at advertising and entrenching the nation to other clients.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Okay.
So their presence and their position would help. Now, rather than the president having to run up and down in the name of explaining and marketing the nation, if we have ambassadors and they are there on ground, their daily job and their daily routine will be to continue to promote the image of the nation. So I think that their coming on board is definitely going to be of help to the government in the first place, of course, to the nation at the next level, because they would have been the face of the nation in those clients. And whether public or private individuals across that board who intend to deal with the country would be better positioned to address that. And I think in that scenario, you're going to have a situation where there will be better flow of information, there will be better flow of activities, and that will, in a way, bolster the drive of the nation in both economic direction and in agri expansion. There are things we do that people across the world need, but they don't have where to get the right information. Unfortunately, for majority of our social media promoters, we are interested in content creation and not in national development. That's why you won't see so much in promoting tourism. You won't see too much in promoting the flora and fauna of Nigeria.
But would you blame,
people are just there.
Would you blame content creators, for what they do and not looking into tourism and all of that?
Well,
if we have,
I am not blaming them,
okay,
but I'm saying that there is a gap with them, and that gap will be better catered for if the embassies are up to task.
Let me put a
As a child, I knew that the VOA was doing so much for the American space. A lot of things some of us knew about America were by the prayer, the books, the pamphlets that the VOA gave to us in secondary school. They were everywhere in the world promoting America, for instance.
So let me ask you. I want you to be very critical now, Sir Benedict. Isn't this ambassadorial nominees ill-timed? That's one. In other words, you're sending out ambassadors to other countries, considering the situation of the country at the moment. Many have said that there will be no impact whatsoever. That's one. Secondly, there is also the talk about this whole ambassadorial nomination is propagandist, because many have critically looked into it and said, okay, y'all just having ambassadors who will try to paint the country nice. How do you paint the current Nigeria situation in a nice way to the outside world or to the international community? Because the truth is the truth. The reality is the reality. So when you start telling me about tourism, when your insecurity is a very big problem, when power is unsolved, when the economy seems to be in crisis, when there are unaccounted for monies and peoples are not being brought to book and to justice, isn't this just a charade?
Well, we can, on the surface, we can conclude they will not make any impact. But in reality, there are also people who want to get information beyond the surface, right?
Okay.
And when you look at some of the people,
are you there?
Okay.
Okay. Well, we're just. I don't know. That connection just ended. I will do well to reconnect. Hello and good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Oh, good morning to you, Honorable Edwards.
Yes.
Talk to us.
Yeah, I agree with our guest completely.
Right.
He spoke well. If you are complaining, you see, that is why we have issues starting from our budgeting. When it's time for budgeting, you are free to go to National Assembly if you have any contribution. And, talk to your representatives. You are free to go to the National Assembly, complain about so many things. We don't do it, but we expect the right thing to be done.
Okay.
This is the right time for whoever that's complaining. The PDP, they are citizens of this country. It seems they are taking politics more than this country. If you want to oppose, you are opposing. A good opposition will do the right thing by going to the National Assembly. Who told you? If you are complaining about the middle past ANEC chairman, there are so many countries in the world. Nigeria is not the same with Ghana. Ghana is not the same with Nigeria. Do you know whether the president has a particular interest that is suitable for this particular person?
And it's a job that only that person can do. No other new name, no new face can do it. No other person can do it, Honorable. Just that person.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the way I look at it.
Okay.
It's possible. So, and Mr. President has appointed a PDP member who is a minister. So, the PDPs are looking for appointment. They should see whether they can, let the president to get appointment. There's nothing wrong here.
Okay.
My problem with the appointment is that it's coming late.
Okay.
And the list is not enough. Because of what is happening, look at the misunderstanding between Nigeria and Mr. Trump now. If there was any good relationship, someone who can handle that, at least would have gone far. And it's happening in the other countries. Nigerians are suffering in so many countries as a result of no representation. So why did it delay? Why delay again?
Okay.
Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, the Honorable Edwards, right there, giving us 2 cents in the matter. Well, you can keep the calls coming through, and we will take your calls. But first, let's go pay some bills. We will be right back in a short bit. It is Eagles Morning Rises Breakfast Show, and this is the political conversation, Eagles Outlook.
Are you ready for this?
Keep this frequency clear.
We're live.
I woke up with a feeling.
Eagles FM 102.3 Abuja.
Things they happen for our community, eh?
Now I can recoup back all the money I have spent on this annoying family.
Hey, yeah. That woman own don't finish.
My dear, let's go and greet them, okay?
Hey! Join Media Coalition and Awareness to hold trafficking, MICAS, on I Wish I Knew radio drama and program every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Join us to kick human trafficking out of our society. I Wish I Knew radio drama and program is brought to you by MICAS and funded by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Denmark.
The African University of Science and Technology, Abuja, AUST, announces that admissions are now open for application into our remedial and A-level JUPE programs for 100-level and direct 200-level admission. Professional diplomas in data science, artificial intelligence, Cisco and Aware certification, project management, construction management, and more. Undergraduate degrees in civil engineering, mechanical engineering, petroleum and energy resources engineering, material and metallurgical engineering, software engineering, computer science, business administration, and accounting. Postgraduate programs, MSc, and PhD in cutting-edge fields like aerospace engineering, space physics, systems engineering, geoinformatics and GIS, pure and applied mathematics, computer science, theoretical and applied physics, material science and engineering, petroleum and energy resources engineering, and MSc only in public policy, public administration, management of information technology, applied statistics and mathematical modeling. Call 003-540-3714 or 006-272-9310 or visit www.aust.edu.ng.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. It is the Eagles Morning Rises Breakfast Show, and we're still looking at the president's nominations or nominees for ambassadorial positions right there. And the PDP is already kicking back and calling foul on the very list. And quite a number of persons have said, why call foul? Why not just wait, until and see what the Senate does before you call foul on them. But then we have this particular one now. It's a voice note, so we will just quickly as possible, try and take that voice note at this time. But keep in mind, this is where we talk politics. This is where we talk current affairs.
Good morning, Mr. UG.
Good morning.
My name is Abados here. You see, from Lokogoma. The thing is this, for me, your guest is sounding more or less like a politician that he is, because there is nobody that is patriotic in this country that will see a character like Reno Mokri, FFK, and make them what do you call it, an ambassador. Ambassador is the face of the entire country in other countries. How can he, maybe because of the kind of what they've been doing or the kind of support they've been giving the president that actually made him. But I'm telling you the truth, that your guest is speaking basically like a typical Yoruba man that he is, because I don't think there's anybody that will ever take such two characters as serious. FFK and Nomokri is a joke. In fact, the enemy of this country that can make these people commissioner. Yeah, Ambassador, thank you.
Okay then. Anyways, thanks for that. But I wouldn't appreciate the part where you're attaching a tribe to this entire conversation. Speak to him as a guest and let it be. All right. Let's not get into the whole typical this, typical that. All right. Doesn't all go well. It's not sounding nicely. Doesn't sound all right. I'm just saying. All right. But anyways, thank you for that. Anyways, we're still taking your calls now. I see this one 0907-353-0044 going to the call already. Hello. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. Good morning, please. What's your name? Where you calling from?
I'm Olatunji calling from Fugwa.
All right, Olatunji, welcome aboard. Talk to us.
Okay. I really love what the analyst. I agree with him because all his points, like, is also where I stand. Just in clearing the list of the ambassadors, I think that's where there is need to be looking at the implementation or the duty given to them.
Right.
Because in the past, how many Nigerians have this role of ambassador assist? Because the analysts talk about even bringing investment to Nigeria, about our tourism, all those things, not only representing Nigerians going outside there.
Yeah.
Also in our country. So how many Nigerians have this role of ambassadors? How many Nigerians know about it? It's not now. So I don't see reason why some people have to be wearing it, because in any way, in terms of federal character, yes, that is there. That is there. They can query that. But I think that one, justice has been done to that. And even though there may not be, we can't say what to do, the federal character, we keep somebody that is not ours. Don't let us forget for this. You understand?
Yeah.
Somebody or a mortgage that, see that, this is what I'm just trying to say. I really agree with the analysis. From my own point of view, the implementation. That will how it brings an avenue for these people to be thoroughly checked.
Okay.
To be thoroughly checked.
Okay.
Yes, and I know the government won't like to pay. So that is depends on the policies of the government. Because those people are just representatives selling our commodities like foreign trade. That is who I think they are. Like intermediary. So, and what the way people are looking at most Nigerians are we getting out. The outside interest, not even the interest within the Nigerian space. Like based on our policy, it's one we drive the ambassadors to perform.
Okay.
So that is I stand. I really agree with that man.
All right, appreciate
it. Performing of this list. Let me tell you, if they don't perform well, they can change them for them to be
Okay. Okay. All right, appreciate that, Olatunji. Well, welcome back. Are you there? Hello? Hello, Sir Benedict, are you there? Yeah. There has been reactions and counter-reaction with regards to the discourse. Olatunji has also added his voice. One of the major concerns will be how many Nigerians have these ambassadors even helped? You know, that's the question he is posing. That when they call themselves ambassadors, they are put there to to represent us on external matters, right? And when a Nigerian in any part of the world should come across them, they should be able to give assistance. But then he has raised one critical position, and that will be the place of implementation in terms of the scrutiny. It says it is left, in the hands of the Senate, as well the scrutiny of these ambassadors to do the needful based on whatever designation that they've been given to man. In your own words, is this going to? Do you think that a process that we have seen in terms of screening of nominees from Mr. President, you think the process is rigorous enough, and that the process is dependable enough for Nigerians to trust any outcomes?
The practical reality is this: there is a process in place. But the problem with us is that a lot of times we don't want to see processes and procedures followed. Like I said of the PDP, they know that there will be screening. They have members in the National Assembly. So rather than call on the president to remove the list or to withdraw the list, they should be talking of, like I said, pinpoint one who should not be there. Put together your own petition, either through your constituent representative or even members of your party. If the protests are not written, the House will not act in blank space. But if the petitions are well orchestrated and the evidences are there that are obvious, it will be shameful on the Senate not to reject candidates that have been so declared by overwhelming evidences as unqualified. But the reality is that a lot of time we live by conjectures, we live by assumption, we live by the public press place, and the actual activity that should be done are actually not done. Like I said, the president has been nominated. The Senate can decide to say we are not clearing based on overwhelming evidences. But are people ready, rather than just talk and condemn in the press, to present these evidences so that the Senate committee can work with it? So I think for me, that is the issue. So it's not the issue of whether they will do the job or they can do the job. It is that will they have the input required for them to take the required decision. A lot of time, the inputs actually don't come, or the procedures and processes are not followed, because people who should follow the procedures and processes are busy there, flying conjecture and whipping up sentiment when they should present facts and figures on the table for things to be done appropriately.
So in other words, you're saying that Nigerians should not even expect any such strict screening process because it does seem as though there is a lackadaisical attitude on the part of members of the Senate in doing their job?
No, not on the part of the members of the Senate. On the part of the members of the public who should present the petition. When you present the petition, then we can now blame them for not following through. But a lot of time, we don't present the petition. So, like I said, those calling for the withdrawal of the list, no, there are names on the list. So pick up the names that you think should not be there. Give us overwhelming evidence why they should not be there. If the Senate now fails to do its job, we can now blame the Senate. Okay. But if you don't present the evidence, it's like a student who did not write an exam, and then you say you are not admitted into the school. How do you get admitted when you did not even write the entrance exam in the first place, or you did not obtain the form? So I think that right now the focus should be on them gathering all the evidence that they need against the people that they think are not qualified and present it to the president, rather than doing a blanket condemnation. That's what we say. Rather than do a blanket condemnation,
Okay.
Some of the people they are talking about are people who have seen it all in the last 10 years. Right? And so they actually have some things they can do in the opinion of the government. But if you have genuine reason why you think they should not be there, present your hard evidence. If the Senate failed to work on it, we can now condemn the Senate. But until you have given them the tools to work with, you cannot say they will not work.
So let me ask you, Sir Benedict. In other words, you're not apportioning any blames to the originator of the list. So in other words, the originator of the list can decide to bring to us a drug baron, put his name on a certain list, and say, you know, my job is just to nominate. I know you're a drug baron, but I'll just put your name on the list because that's just my job. It's my fundamental right, and that's what I'm exercising. I don't know if you catch where I'm going. I mean, I
got where you are going.
Yeah.
But what we are still saying is this. Now, for anybody that was placed on that list, there would have been a reason. We have security challenges that maybe the rest of the world does not understand. So, for instance, if you're asking somebody who has been DGDSS to go and explain to the world on your behalf, he's been DGDSS for 8 years. I don't think that anybody will have better information about what went wrong in the nation or what was going on in the nation for those 8 years better than Kayode. The other man who has been maybe like 4 or 5 years as DGNIE should also have better information than some of the people in the public space. So the person who nominated them had this reason for nominating them. You see, I come from the West.
Regardless of their pedigree.
I come from the West. And in the West, you say that. Yeah, in the West, you say that your bad child has his own day. Right?
Yeah.
That bad child that is on the street, there is a day you may also need him to do something. Or if there are others who think these are not competent to represent us, that's why the Senate is there to screen. And that's why we are saying, if you say it's a drug baron, provide your hard evidence. Bring NDLA along if they need a right. Go to the Senate and prove it. But until that is done, if that fellow, if he is not nominated from prison, he is not in prison for being a drug baron. He is on the street. He has not been arrested. He is not standing trial. For me, the screening should now eliminate him because you have the evidence that possibly was not before the court or before the authorities. And then based on those evidence, such individuals will not sail through in the screening exercise. But I'm saying that the people who should do the screening should be provided with all the evidences that we have against these people, rather than condemning. Like we said, go back to Buhari regime. Loretta Onoshe was nominated more than once to be in INEC. But he never sailed through because people have the right evidences against her, and she was rejected.
So let me ask this one finally, though. I mean, then you put a cap, to the entire conversation. Now, should certain people be found wanting, maybe in terms of corruption, in terms of nepotism, in terms of whatever it is, and there is hard evidence? What next? Does it stop at, okay, go home, sorry, you have not been nominated because of this, and that. We have discovered discrepancies, in this and that. So go home and sin no more, or go home and continue to sin until your name comes out on the watch list of an EFCC radar or ICPC. You are free to do whatever you want to do. Should it always end there? I'm just asking for your opinion, though.
Well, we might say it should not always be there, but the law also says you are innocent until proven guilty. If that remains the watchword, then we need to prove these things. And if the Senate found that El-Rufai is not standing trial for insecurity or for anything, but it was not cleared by the Senate to be a minister, and heaven did not fall. Right. So if we have seen issues of people who didn't get cleared, whatever evidence was alluded against them, it's a different thing. Some people also got cleared without the right certificate without NYSC and this and that. There are people who knew that these people didn't have those certificates. There are people who knew that these people didn't do NYSC. But at the point of screening, they did provide those evidences to the Senate. So what I'm saying is we need to, at this point, we should, rather than wide condemnation, we should be gathering and providing all the evidences that are available that we can access against the candidates that we think are not qualified.
Okay.
So that the Senate will not have an excuse for clearing them. Okay. And whoever is not cleared can then, of course, be replaced. The president would have a job to nominate another person who possibly have a similar reason for which he picked up that person. It's as simple as that.
All right, thank you so much.
So in my opinion, nomination is nomination. Yeah. Screening should be screening. And everybody, people who have opportunity to put input at nomination, they've done their input. So those who have opportunity to also do at the screening level, it is their job to also provide the input at screening. And that way there will be a balance. And like I said, if you are still very dissatisfied as an individual or a group, you can then decide to go to court to say this nomination was wrong. You have provided evidence to the Senate, but the Senate has approved. And you think that the Senate was wrong in that action. And then it will be in the public space.
And hopefully we'll...
Jurisprudence is how well we have tested the law.
Yeah.
And we should be ready to test it rather than make noise in the press.
And we just hope that we would not also have a court that is having conflicting orders, because that is also the same issues Nigerians are saying. Where do we now run to? If we get these people, we nab them, we bring out the evidence and everything, and then in the end, it seems as though justice is only for the money.
Yeah, it's only one Supreme Court. The Supreme Court cannot grant a conflicting order against itself.
Okay.
So if lower courts grant conflicting order, challenge them to a higher court. The Supreme Court is only one, not two.
Okay. All right, though.
And the Supreme Court cannot grant conflicting order. So we should also learn to follow process. And that's why we're talking about jurisprudence. Follow the process to the end. And then we would have a new law, a new statute, or a new directive that shows this is how this should be handled going forward.
Okay. Many thanks, though, Benedict Olalekun Agunloye. You are an information professional, policy and public affairs analyst. Thank you for adding your voice in the discourse this morning.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Well, and that is his voice. It says the Supreme Court will never go against itself. It will never conflict an order on its of itself, right? But then he says follow the process, jurisprudence, follow the process and all of that. But you and I know what the process feels like in Nigeria. I mean, if you're going to the appeal, you go to Apex, you go to you go to all of these courts. Isn't it dragging? It's taken years and years and sometimes 20 years before it gets to the Supreme Court. Many times the person who even took it to court in the first place is already dead and gone. But anyways, this is not also to alter the fact that yes, there is a process. Processes has to be followed. But many Nigerians are saying in matters like this, in the end, when it falls and the ball falls on the front space, on the front yard, on the porch of the Supreme Court, can Nigerians indeed trust the court systems? In other words, can we indeed review the court processes so that it doesn't take years on end, months on end, adjournments here and there, every now and then, until justice is finally served, maybe at a later time, or not even served at all. That means forgotten. But anyways, let's see what the Senate brings up and comes up with in the end, as these nominees will be going through a screening and see the outcome of that, and that will indeed decide or be the decider. My name is Uduak Daniel. Thank you for being a part of this one.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
This is Eagles 102.3 News, your number one radio experience you can count on.